late. That couldn't have been more evident when during Madrid's first leg playoff versus Benfica, Vinny pulled this brilliant strike from out of his hat. The Brazilian had been hearing it all game long from the Benfica supporters, so he gave them a little taste of their own medicine, which his opponents did not appreciate. Things though calmed down afterwards, but just as play was about to start, all of a sudden Vinnie Jr. ran straight to the official to report an incident of racism, and all the while, he was pointing directly at Benfica's Gianluca Prestiani. Vinny accused the 20-year-old Argentinian of calling him mono, which is monkey in Spanish. This is an unfortunately common racial slur used towards black players. This wasn't the only instance of this that night, by the way. There are multiple videos of fans in the stadium doing monkey chants. Prestiani, however, quickly denied the accusation by repeating what he had actually said. Hermano, which is very interesting because why did he need to cover his mouth to say brother?
But I pressed nothing. I was hoping he'd just settle the ball and play it up the field, and now we still have no possession. Bro, what the fuck? How did you just end up with... Get it out, you fucking... Ow! Neek and poop, dude! Oh my god!
All the while this was happening, Kylian Mbappe went up to Prestiani to call him multiple times. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Benfica's manager, Jose Mourinho, pretty much just put the blame all on Vinny. He said, quote, "When you score a goal like that, you celebrate in a respectful way. When Vinny was arguing about racism, I told him that the biggest person in the history of this club is black. This club, the last thing that it is racist." This sport never fails to disappoint me in brand new ways, because I really just heard the "I can't be racist, I have black friends" argument using Eusebio. I cannot tell you how disrespectful it is to use a legend like Eusebio and reduce him to shallow identity politics. Have shame. Also, I know it ain't who I think it is right now speaking about respectful celebrations. You know, the same guy who did this after being Barcelona in the Champions League. Fuck out of here. This somehow wasn't even the worst defense though. That goes to Benfica themselves, who posted a different view of the incident claiming, quote, "Given the distance, the Real Madrid players could not have heard what they claimed to have heard." He's right next to him. Actually, I take it back. This is the worst defense. In a span of about 5 minutes, former Paraguayan keeper Jose Luis Chilivert went from talking about Vinicius Jr. to having pretty much a schizophrenic rant. He made transphobic comments regarding an old rumor about Mbappe having a trans partner, accused the game of becoming gayer because there's more cameras and microphones now, and he nearly called Vinnie Jr. a monkey himself. Anyways, it turns out Prestiani did not actually say hermano under his shirt. I know, big surprise there. A couple days after the match, reports came out about how Prestiani told UEFA himself he didn't call Vinnie Jr. a monkey, he actually called him the F-slur. Oh, I'm not racist, I'm just homophobic. Yeah, that's one way to deny the allegations, I guess. Thing is, it's a bit hard for me to believe him. I mean, it already was before. But when you switch up from claiming you said hermano to the F-slur, I don't know, I feel like he said that just so that the punishment wouldn't be as severe. Because let's be honest with ourselves, it definitely would be. Whether it's the case or not though, it is very telling that a footballer can feel this safe enough to admit something like that. I mean, it's not like we just had an openly gay referee in Germany get jumped twice or anything. Okay, so a couple updates since I last recorded this video. Prestiani actually recently tweeted, quote, "You can punch someone off the ball and there's no punishment. You can punish without evidence. They're not even trying to hide it with Real Madrid anymore. They're a disgrace." He deleted that immediately after because he's a bitch though. Oh, also, Benfica captain Nicolas Otamendi's brother posted this 2 hours before the game. I don't mean to be that guy, but going back to Vinicius Jr., this is not the first time he's had to face this shit. Far from it, actually. March 2022, during a match versus Mallorca, Vinny was told to, quote, "go and eat some bananas" by a fan. The fan was pretty much not punished, though, because Mallorca prosecutors said, and I quote, "The sounds made, although they reflect despicable, degrading attitudes, do not initially seem to display, in this case, a criminal dimension." September 2022, football agent Pedro Bravo on popular late-night Spanish show El Chiringuito said Vinny should stop dancing during his goal celebrations. If you want to dance samba, go to the samba drum in Brazil. Here, you have to respect your fellow players. Stop acting like a monkey. In the same month also, hundreds of Atleti fans outside the stadiums were singing, "You're a monkey, Vinicius, you are a monkey." Prosecutors did not see this as a criminal offense, by the way. January 2023, Atleti fans. Again, this time they decided to take a mannequin resembling Vinnie Jr. and hang it over a bridge. 4 people were arrested, but none of them served any actual jail time after writing an apology letter to Vinny. I'm not kidding. March 2023, multiple Barcelona fans directed monkey chants and other threats towards Vinicius Jr. A complaint was filed to authorities, but no one was punished. May 2023, during a match versus Valencia, in the 73rd minute, Vinny confronted some fans who had been shouting monkey at him. 3 fans were arrested, convicted, and given a 3-year stadium ban. Valencia was also fined in order to play 5 games with one of their stands closed. However, Valencia were only fined $45K, and their stadium ban, partial stadium ban at least, was reduced to 3 games after an appeal. January 2024, Atleti. Again, fans were once again recorded outside the stadium singing, "Vinny, you are a monkey." February 2025, a game between Real Madrid and Real Sociedad had to be briefly stopped after a fan made a monkey gesture towards Vinny. August 2025, La Liga reported alleged monkey chants towards Vinny and Mbappe during a match versus Real Oviedo. That's only just a few of the many bouts of racism Vinny has had to face, as since October 2021, La Liga has reported 26 incidents of racial discrimination towards the Brazilian. 10 of these instances have happened on home soil. That specific time period, by the way, was when the league made its first official response. So that said, there could have been more incidents before that have gone completely under the radar. I remember watching this documentary about racism in European football made back in the 2000s by ESPN. It was eye-opening for little old me back then, because I hadn't seen the game I grew to love in a light like this before. And 10 plus years later, nothing's changed. Quite honestly, in some ways, I think it's gotten worse. But why is that the case? I mean, this has been more visible than it's ever been before. There's more people that are against it, people who have been speaking out against it. Why does it keep popping up so much? Well, for one, Spain's handling of everything has been very slow and ineffective. We only just saw a breakthrough last year when, for the first time ever, fans who abused Vinny were actually convicted. Thing is, they're not serving any actual jail time so long as they don't attend an official match for 3 years. Even with the progress that's made in this country, it just feels like a backhanded comment, just a little slap on the wrist. That's it. Now, La Liga's been behind a lot of these reports to the authorities, which is good, but at the same time, they haven't really been any better. You've already seen it in this video. All these clubs are getting tiny fines that do nothing to their finances. They're getting partial stadium closures that can easily be appealed or suspended, or they'll just not be punished whatsoever. And when all these punishments that do absolutely fuck all to stop fans from being degenerates are called out for exactly that, you get the president of the league accusing you of being manipulated. I don't give a damn if he apologized. The damage has already been done. He already showed that he's not actually committed to stopping racism. He'll just continue to facilitate it through his lack of action. And on top of all this, you got those dumb-ass figures in this sport. They're just spread around that are blaming Vinicius Jr. himself for the fact that he's getting racially abused. I'm not kidding. This isn't like an old thing, by the way. During Real Madrid and Benfica's ordeal, referee Mark Clattenburg was on commentary saying Vinny was, quote, not helping himself. This is an extremely common rhetoric that has been pushed to justify the shit Vinny has to go through, because apparently calling out racism is just too hard. And a lot of these arguments surrounding this narrative revolve around Vinny's personality on the pitch, especially his dancing as seen before in Pedro Bravo's comments. What I find especially interesting about the people making these complaints, though, is that they're very selective. Vinny will be called arrogant for a dance and be told that he needs to be more polite and respectful towards his fellow players and the fans. Meanwhile, Jamie Vardy will pull the same exact antics, be called a classic shithouse, and be celebrated for it. The same thing can be said about Antoine Griezmann. This guy did the Take the L Fortnite dance at a World Cup final, and although I consider that personally a violation of the Geneva Conventions, no one said a word about it. And I know what you're saying, but Maxwell, Antoine Griezmann is also black. And keep in mind, I'm not the biggest fan of Vinnie Jr., especially his antics. Quite honestly, I don't really like him that much. But it's really, and I mean really simple to be a normal human being and just call him like a cunt or something. It's not that hard. And we always see these messages of no to racism from leagues and organizations, and with every single passing day, we continue to see that they're doing fuck all to actually fight what they supposedly are against. Just look at how Prestiani got a 1-game suspension. I don't give a fuck if the investigation isn't complete. He hid his mouth so the cameras wouldn't see what he would say. He knew exactly what he was doing. Also, not to mention, he himself admitted to saying a homophobic slur. That should also be punished very severely, especially considering UEFA claims they stand for a, quote, safe and inclusive environment. Also, extremely telling that Benfica continue to protest Prestiani's suspension even after that was admitted. I mean, what a fucked up club. Also, nothing has been done, by the way, with any of the other fans in the stadiums that were doing monkey gestures and monkey chants. Okay, so update again. There was actually a rumor that popped up about how Prestiani confessed to calling Vinny a monkey. Benfica, however, denied those recent reports. Still haven't said anything about the homophobia, though. This is why nothing has gotten any better since that documentary. All these organizations actually care about is just the image they emit. That's all. They are just as guilty as the people making these monkey gestures towards Vinny, whether from the past, present, or into the future. Also, outside the Vinny sphere, you got Manchester United co-owner Jim Ratcliffe going on an interview and claiming that the United Kingdom is being colonized by immigrants. By the way, this motherfucker has been living in tax haven Monaco since 2020. Jamie, pull up that image. Anyways, for this extremely racist comment, Jim Ratcliffe was not charged by the FA whatsoever. And I'm not saying this lack of punishment is directly correlated with this, but I definitely believe this has encouraged more of this type of behavior. Wesley Fofana, Hannibal Mejbri, Roman Mundo, Tolu Orokotare, all in one weekend. If any of this is to get better, these organizations need to stop being so spineless in the presence of any form of discrimination. A strong foot has to be put down because anything else will continue to welcome this kind of behavior. But do I think any of this will actually be implemented? Of fucking course not. We did get at least one bit of justice, as in the second leg, Vinny put a dagger in Benfica's hopes and then danced on their corpses. Good fucking riddance. But what do you guys think? Will it get better? Will it get worse? Let me know. Of course, though, a massive shout out to all our members, including Am I before Janos Balas? Congratulations, this is the only time this will ever happen. You are before Janos Balas. Janos Balas, Jermin Sayu 7, Jeremiah Usu Ajimang, Django, Anazir Makalankam, Alex Rod, Kentra Gatra, St. Terrence, Sylvia Citrus, Cheesebait, Winder Gel, Finn Likes Rugby More, Davox, The Portergeyser, Wise Orange, Polar Protos, Von Fan, Ghostly Owl, Coney Wolves, Leakstab, Mutanai, Apollo, Thrilling ADT 13, Los Milos, La James Braun, Vacinho, Napside, Money Cash Hose, Quantavious Pork, Lilia Lover, Stewed Monk, Red Yellow, Fuxi, MXN, Harry Maguire's Left Toenail, Flaquito, Thierry's Thoughts, Kev C, Dominic Griffin, Kyler Kress, Mohammed Altanib, Nish, Patrick Barley, Rashford God 5, Raspberry Ale, and Unbroken Persona. If you'd like to become a member on the channel, there'll be a link down below and up in the annotations. Jesus Christ, my directions here. You can follow me on Twitter if you want, follow my Instagram if you like, follow my Twitch as well. Again, I'm gonna be in Japan for most of March, so I will not be able to stream more than likely. We'll see at least. But I will be able to into April and all the other months if we manage to make it that far. I hope I'm not jinxing anything here. But until then, I'll see you guys.